Where's my... I've been asked to talk to you today a little bit about the work we've been doing with our stakeholders, and when I kind of re-looked at the slide here today, I noticed that the word group is plural. It's got S at the end. In fact, it should be group because we've only got one. I think I was feeling a wee bit optimistic when I put the presentation together. But I'm going to start by asking you guys a question. How many reports do you think IRIC receive on an annual basis? The IRIC team aren't allowed to answer this. Any guesses as to how many adverse incident reports we receive on medical equipment? No? I've played to better audiences than this. 300, right? That's a 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 would be great. I'm going to try and guide you. Our colleagues from Northern Ireland are here, the Adverse Incident Centre. They run a very similar system to us. There are differences in the health system in Northern Ireland compared to Scotland, but Scotland is 3 times the size of Northern Ireland, and Northern Ireland receives 600 reports a year, roughly. Is that right, Robert? Assuming, just allowing a wee bit of kind of simple arithmetic, my daughter's got her maths exam tomorrow and I'm sure she might fail me on these sums, but if we're 3 times the size of Northern Ireland in terms of population, they're receiving 600 reports a year. Would it be fair to assume that we might hope to be achieving 1,800, 2,000 reports a year? In actual fact, over the last 5 years, up to March 2017, that's the number of reports we've been receiving in IRIC. Way down, I think, on perhaps what we'd expect. We don't know how much on, Innes kind of touched on under-reporting earlier on. We don't know to what degree we've been under-reported, but I think that kind of displays that we are actually not receiving enough reports. Over the last year, IRIC has been doing a lot of work with our stakeholders to achieve a number of things, but the bottom line, what we want to see is an increase in reporting. And what I've been doing is just working on a kind of small side project alongside all the major stuff that Innes and Celeste are doing to see if we can up these reports. Because ultimately we are moving away from a system where we investigate every single incident to trending. We'll be logging a lot of these incidents and waiting until we hit a trigger point before we do anything. And at the moment, we're never going to catch any trend with that volume of data. In fact, you'd be lucky to catch a paper cut with that volume of data going through it. We certainly would struggle to catch a trend. So what is a specialist advisory group? Well, it's a group of people that we've brought together with technical knowledge of one area, and we've concentrated on wheelchairs first of all. Now, there are over 1 million wheelchairs in use in the UK according to NHS England. Wheelchairs used to be the source of a lot of, well, it's big business for the NHS, and in fact the MHRA used to have its own dedicated assistive technology centre at one stage up until a few years ago. There were a lot of medical device alerts being published in the field, and it was a kind of big area of interest to us all. There are 5 wheelchair centres in Scotland, covering the whole of Scotland. They currently already meet under the national procurement, national contract system. They all meet as a commodity advisory panel. So the people that we want to kind of speak to already exist, so we've jumped on the back of that. We've invited them to our group. We've said our group's better than their group. Come and see us. The group is attended by managers and experts from these wheelchair centres. The managers themselves are all experts. They're former bioengineers, or they are bioengineers and clinical scientists. And they're people that understand wheelchairs much better than IRIC can. They know the hazards, they know the risks associated with these devices much better than I can assess. As I said earlier, they are Scotland-wide, so they are the people that if we do need to do something in Scotland or make changes, they're the people to do it. The group is managed by IRIC. We kind of run the group. We do invite our national procurement colleagues. They've got a permanent...
did that on purpose, didn't you?
Aye, yeah. IRIC and national procurement... sorry?
Incidents. You just had them.
Did I? Oh yes, yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm a wee bit slow. IRIC and national procurement work closely in everything. So obviously wheelchairs, as I said earlier, are on national contracts, so we do keep them in the picture. They have a permanent seat at the table with us. We do invite other groups to these specialist advisory groups with us. We have had the MHRA attend in the past, and in theory there's no reason why we couldn't invite manufacturers as well if an issue was big enough and we had to deal with it on a national basis. So if I kind of open invitation to multiple groups in theory. The way it all runs is by WebEx mainly. The 5 wheelchair centres are from all over Scotland, therefore it's kind of impractical to invite everyone either to Glasgow or Edinburgh or Aberdeen or Inverness. So we run by WebEx, so it means no one has to leave their office. In fact, on the day that we have the WebEx meetings, I don't leave home, so I can sit there with my kind of shirt and tie on from the waist up, and from the waist down, well, I can leave that to your imagination. What it does, one of the key points is that we provide a lot of information to the group, mainly by email. We inform the group of every adverse incident that we've had in Scotland. So if I receive something from Glasgow, I'll share that with the other 5 groups, just to raise awareness. We talk about various things. We talk about any field safety notices that have come in, any hot topics of interest, and we go round the table, and it's a sharing exercise. And the beauty of it is we've never had this ability before for the wheelchair centres to kind of communicate about adverse incidents only, and this provides that kind of mechanism. The benefits are it enables us to work a lot closer with those at the coalface. Yes, we've been doing a lot of work with our equipment coordinators and those at a higher level within boards, but this actually allows us to get to the people using equipment, the people that understand that equipment. And in fact, stakeholder engagement's part of our kind of 5-year plan. It's kind of mentioned in every kind of stage. We have to be speaking to you guys a lot more. As I said, we're working with experts in the field. I'm not the expert in IRIC, they're the expert, they're the ones that we really need to be speaking to. What we're hoping for is an increase in local reporting first of all, because one thing that we in IRIC always promote is local reporting first and foremost, and then obviously our interest, which is the national system. So we're hoping to see an increase in both of these, because we did become aware early on that not everything's been reported locally, never mind nationally. It is a multi-way system of sharing information. The information, although it mainly comes from me, I'm sharing my adverse incident information, any trends I'm picking up, and any issues that I'm picking up from these reports. But equally, information's coming back from the wheelchair centres as well. The centres are certainly adding value to our work by giving us information, and I hope that we are adding some positive things to their work as well. In fact, I believe that Westmark, who are one of the biggest wheelchair centres, are just in the process just now of bringing in a risk management system which is actually similar to ours. It's Q-Pulse. And that is a benefit because we can share the fields, the information that we require with them. They can collect that information and pass it on to us. And it might ultimately mean that Westmark don't need to report to us. We might just be able to extract information straight out of their database into ours. So it reduces workload for them and us. But that's for the future. IRIC has to find new ways of working. We're a small team. It was mentioned earlier, we're a team of 4. When I started working IRIC 12 years ago, We were a team of 4 then as well, but the 4 of us were all caseload carrying people. We were all investigators. Although we're a team of 4 now, only 2 are investigators, so we have to find different ways of working. We have to become much more efficient and effective. We need to become much more responsive to any kind of issues that arise that need dealt with now. And by us having a kind of link into the wheelchair centres, we can do that. Instead of us shrugging our shoulders in the past thinking, who are we going to call? Well, we know who we're going to call in this instance. And as Ines mentioned earlier, we're moving away from one-to-one investigation, one incident in, one investigation, to trending. So we need much more data. We don't have enough just now. Just to give you an idea whether this kind of a system has kind of worked, we had our first specialist advisory group meeting in September 2016. I had a quick look at the data in the 18 months leading up to that meeting, and we had 13 wheelchair incidents over an 18-month period leading up to that meeting. Since we've had that meeting, that's increased to 73. We've had a 6-fold increase. Now, going back to the slide where I showed you the number of reports that IRIC were receiving, we were at about the 300 reports a year mark. And we can mention maybe that 1,800 reports a year would be good based on what Northern Ireland were receiving. That's a 6-fold increase. 6 times 300. Where's my daughter? I think that works out as 1,800. So if we could apply something like that's happening here across the board in IRIC, we could increase our reporting 6-fold and hopefully have a much more confident data set that we're working with. So in summary, the way the group is operating is still evolving. We're still working out our terms of reference. We're still working exactly what I can deliver and what they can deliver for us. But the early signs are positive. There is an increase in national reporting in this product area. As a result, we're much more confident in our data in terms of trending in this area. We're not 100% confident in it yet, because not every wheelchair centre is reporting to us, but more of them are. And because we're actually all communicating with each other, we're much more likely to catch trends before they become a major issue. We're increasing awareness of issues across Scotland quickly and rapidly. Much more improved communication. And since this is showing signs of success, it's possibly a model that we will consider running across other areas in Scotland. There we go. Thank you.